Back with Robert Exel on TYT Sports, talking more boxing. The main attraction on Saturday night in Carson, California, Nonito, the Filipino Flash Donaire against Toshiaki Nishioka, I was going to say 39. He's 36 years old, the #1 fighter coming out of Japan. Let's start with the contender, Robert, Nishioka. You know, he's 39, 4-3. He has 24 knockouts. He is a southpaw. What does he bring to the table against Donaire?
Well, he brings power. He brings experience. He brings the great tradition of Japanese boxers with him as the upholder of the flame. He is a great fighter. There's no question about it. He may not be the great fighter that Donaire is, but he is a terrific fighter, and it's an excellent opponent for Donaire, who, as you know, things have not gone quite so well for him in the last few fights.
Sure. Well, here's the thing about Donaire. As we look at his past fights, he dominated Omar Narvaez, who simply just came for a payday. So you could kind of scratch that one because he was fighting against a guy who was just running. He dropped Wilfredo Vasquez Jr., so you could say that that was a good one. And then he totally beat up on South Africa's Jeffrey Matabula Jr., or excuse me, Jeffrey Matabula. Why exactly would you say that he, at least how I'm perceiving what you just said, he hasn't been as impressive as many other fighters that you've seen?
Well, I think partly because he has raised the bar so high. He established early on that he was a knockout artist, that he's got an amazing left hook, as you know. Mm-hmm. He has that kamikaze ethos. He's willing to come in and do what he needs to do to reach his opponent and hurt his opponent. And, of course, he did have trouble with Narvaez and got frustrated with Narvaez, which in some ways was understandable, but perhaps not forgivable. He was fighting an opponent who was really beneath him in terms of skill and beneath him in terms of character, and he allowed himself to get frustrated. That was unfortunate. He also has moved up in weight, as you know, so there was a real question on whether or not he has brought his power with him. That said, Donaire is one of the bright lights in boxing. He is a wonderful performer. He's a thrilling performer, and one always is on the edge of one's seat because, again, he has the power, which is the great equalizer in boxing.
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you with the Narvaez fight for the sole fact that, as I said previously, Narvaez was just running. So I understand why some people may think that, well, he just got frustrated. I saw, and I could side with Donaire, at least on this fight, in that he was frustrated because he wanted to put up a good fight. It's not fun hearing the boo birds, especially at Madison Square Garden. I mean, that's tough to take in as a fighter and as a performer. So, I mean, I guess I just respectfully disagree with you with Narvaez because, yeah, he was frustrated, but he also wanted to put on a good show. I mean, can you see that at all?
Of course I can. I understand that completely. Yet I also understand that Narvaez was not the first fighter who ran during a fight. This is something that boxers do encounter, especially champions, in the course of their careers. They fight people who are there to survive. One can allow that to become frustrating, or one can have a strategy to deal with that going in, so that one can apply one's power, one's gifts to this opponent who's covering up, to this opponent who's running. I understand your position completely, and I don't disagree with your position completely, but I do think that where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a game plan, there's a way, and that there ought to have been a way for Donaire to get through the quote-unquote defense of Narvaez and not allow it to frustrate him.
Donaire 29-1, 18 knockouts. Nishioka 39-4-3 with 24 knockouts. Donaire, 29 years old, the WBO IBF Super Bantamweight champion. Let's go back to Toshiaki. You know, he hasn't lost since 2004. He last beat Rafael Marquez. This will only be his third time fighting in the United States. Can you possibly see him winning? I mean, you could obviously see him winning a few rounds, but do you think that he has the power? And do you think that he has the skill to knock down Nonito Donaire and even get him flustered by knocking him down and landing, you know, that straight left hand that he loves to do?
Oh, I don't see it happening. It certainly could happen, but I don't really imagine that it's going to happen. I think that Donaire is still growing as a fighter, whereas I think Nishioka, because of his age, is probably shrinking as a fighter. Again, he's tough, he's had some tough competition. He beat Johnny Gonzalez. I mean, this guy's no slouch, but he's in there with really one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet, and I think Donaire is going to perform his magic Saturday night.
What does it say about Nishioka that he vacated his title in order to fight Donaire? I mean, what does that say about him?
Well, he is obviously somebody who has a lot of pride. He's somebody who sees that there is a big payday facing him, and he wants to take advantage of that. And I also believe that he believes that he can win this fight, which should make it an interesting proposition at the very least.
Let me ask you very quickly, Robert, as we possibly look ahead, a bout that many, many people want to see is Nonito Donaire against Abner Mares. Let's say Donaire wins this fight. Can you possibly see that fight happening in the near future, even though there's a lot of obstacles that has to be overcome in order for this fight to happen?
Well, it certainly would be a terrific fight. Mares has got his own sort of tough fight coming up, tougher opponent than Nishioka, in fact. But should Mares get through that, and should Donaire get through Nishioka on Saturday, that fight would be a natural. But as you say, there are a lot of obstacles to overcome, so one shouldn't hold one's breath. Very
quickly, from everything that I've heard from you, and it at least seems like you believe that Nonito Donaire will win this fight single-handedly. Am I right on that track?
Yes, but it's going to be competitive. He's going to get hit. He's going to get caught. There's no question about it. He's fighting a good fighter. That's one of the great things about Nonito, is that he doesn't really fight stiffs, and he's certainly not fighting a stiff Saturday night in Carson, California.
Robert Exel, the editor-in-chief of Boxing.com. You could follow him on Twitter at boxing_com and follow his fantastic writing at www.boxing.com. It makes sense, guys. Robert Exel, thank you so much for the time, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Great. See you soon.